Hello everyone, Dolphin Oracle here tonight. And tonight I thought I'd take a brief look at applications we can use to install other applications. Now, most people, when they want to use a computer operating system, they want to run applications on that system. And MX comes with a lot of applications, so you may be well suited right out of the box for a long while. We've got an office suite, we've got a web browser, of course, we've got some audio stuff, we got a video player, we got a photo viewer or picture viewer, lots of things in there that must have, but inevitably you're going to want to do something else. And so you're probably going to need another application for that. My own self, I install quite a few odds and ends, Audacity audio editor, Caden Live video editor, Handbrake for video format conversion, I guess. Anyway, different application utilities. VirtualBox is one, obviously, that I use. So let's go through some of your options. I'm going to start with MX Package Installer. Now it's available from the welcome screen when you open it up, but I've already have it running here. MX Package Installer is when we say packages in the Linux world, applications are wrapped up into packages that are installable. In the Debian world, these are so-called deb packages. They're just compressed archives with some extra information in them that will pull down different dependencies from the repository. The repository being an online source of software. So think of it a little bit like a software store. The concept is actually older than your modern software store, in the open source world in particular. But the idea is the same. It's a central place where you can go and get applications that will run on your operating system. Now, MX package install. Most package managers will draw from from whatever repository configurations are enabled in your system. By default, for us, we have Debian repositories and we have the MX repositories. Now MX Package Installer is a little different. At least the popular applications tab. We do things a little bit different in this suite than other stores, other software managers, other package managers. Popular apps, which arguably not everything in there is a popular app, but bear with me, has superpowers. So each think of it as a curated application selection area. So like we go to the web browser area here, and we have all the popular web browsers. Now, Google Chrome, you might see, and Microsoft Edge are not open source. They're proprietary software. They're closed source software, and they're not in our repos. They're in repositories hosted by Microsoft and Google. And the popular apps entry, well, let me back up. The normal way would be to go out, get the package from Google, download Chrome or whatever, and you download it and you install it on your system. And you can do it that way if you want to. But we can also, with popular applications, we say, okay, I want to install it. And then it's going to enable a Google repository automatically, install it for us, and then that repository, in Google's case, that repository, in Chrome's case, that repository will be left enabled, and we'll get future updates because it'll become another enabled repository, another configured repository in the package management system. Now, that's true for Google Chrome. That's true for the Microsoft. It's true for a lot of things in popular applications. It's not true for everything. There's a couple utilities. XNView is one, I think. There's a few others where there is no actual repository. So the application will show up in our package managers. Like if you want to uninstall it later, it'll show up there, but you won't get automatic updates. You just have to run the utility again and pull it down. So I'm gonna show you a little bit how this works. There's another kind of package in here, and the development area is a good place to do it. Our Qt5 development environment package. If you click on this little eyeball, this eye here, it'll give you a list of what's going to be installed. These aren't actually. You might be familiar with a thing called meta packages, where it defines everything that's going to come down. These aren't strictly speaking meta packages. There's a list. They're like more like routines for installing different things. So we can install either a single application, or like in this case, we install a set of applications. And in particular, we saw a set of things that's useful for us when we're working on the MX tools. So everything's we've selected two things: Google Chrome and the Qt Dev environment. We're going to hit install. I'm going to swip over to the text message. Now, I've already entered my password once, so it's remembered that, but otherwise it would ask for your user password. And it's going to try to install the different things that we selected. And the first thing it's going to do is the development environment. And you can see it gives us a note. We say OK, and it does its thing. It updates the repository, the sources, and it downloads everything and installs it all at once. That part of its basic package management in the Debian world. So you see it's doing a lot of unpacking, a little bit of configuring as it installs the Qt development environment. And now you'll notice it's installing Google Chrome. It's going to try to install Google Chrome. So okay, we'll install Google Chrome. It configured the Google Chrome repository for us automatically, and it's downloading Google Chrome. Very simple. And in Chrome's case, you'll get future updates because it leaves a repository enabled. And that's how the Popular Applications tab works. It's not difficult. It is a little different than it's more like a curated set of routines to help you get things we think you might find useful installed. Enabled repos is your classic package management area. It's going to be any repository that you have enabled. It's going to list out the packages that are available in that repository. It's also going to list out packages that are installed. So if I put in Google Chrome, there it is. So any package that's installed is going to show up in there as well. That way you can uninstall and install as needed. Okay, so it does a little bit more than just installing. This area has filters for hiding library and developer packages. You might need to untick that if, for instance, you're looking for something that starts with the first three letters, lib. That's unfortunate because it's library, but it's also LibreOffice and LibreWolf and a bunch of other things that start with Libra. It's just a simple text filter. We do have a text search up here, and you can actually get a list of everything that's upgradable just by clicking that, and then you can mark everything and hit the upgrade all button and go to town. Okay. The test repo tab and the Debian backports tabs are different. These are repositories of software that's not in the main repositories, but has been backported from other sources, usually Debian SID, which is kind of an unstable area, but newer packages land there first, and they go in either backports or test repo. We don't leave those repositories enabled. We've done some things on the server backend these days, so it's a little safer to leave them enabled, but by and large, we say leave them disabled, install them from the test repo and Debian backports tab if you want to. This is also going to show everything that's installed. Let me get all packages on here. You can do a filter like not installed, which is handy if you're looking at the test repo because everything that's on there already is not going to show up. So you can get updated packages that aren't in Debian stable but that are in our test repo. And this is the same for Debian backports. Now what's going to happen if you select one to install is it's going to automatically enable the particular special repository. It's going to install the software, and then it's going to disable those special repositories so that they're not left open. Now, some people say, well, what about future updates? Well, you can do it again from the test repo tab. You can enable the repo manually. I'm not going to be responsible if you do a big upgrade and hose your system because you left test or backports enabled. Like I said, they're mostly safe. I'm not going to say they're 100% safe, and it's called test for a reason. Okay. The last area that's interesting is, the console output tab, you can go back and see everything that just happened. Okay. The Flatpaks tab is different. Flatpaks are universal applications. You may have heard of them. Certainly, long-time Linux users will know what they are. New users may have heard of snaps and Flatpaks as being major major universal package formats. We support Flatpak and MX Package Installer because, quite frankly, snaps only work under Systemd, and we don't always have Systemd running on MX. So we just stick with Flatpaks. They work on everything, and anything that's on FlatHub we're pre-configured to use FlatHub, and anything that's on FlatHub is going to show up in here. You do have an option to choose either the entire FlatHub catalog or just what they call their verified list. Excuse me, their verified list, which is, yes, we know who these people building these packages are. We've reached out and got them. So you can have your choice. That makes you feel a little bit better about life. You can. Just there may be a few applications that you think through major applications that aren't on the verified list that you might want to use, and you can always use the full catalog. It's exactly the same catalog. You just get it verified as actually a subset of their entire catalog. Okay. So, and it works the same way as the other tabs. You select the thing you want to install. You click the install button. It'll flip over to this console output tab, and it will run the install. Now, one thing I should mention, some applications will have a question sometimes come up, particularly if you've adjusted a configuration file that's under /etc or something like that. And you may get asked to confirm something here. You can type the response in this window. If you're taking the default response, you can just hit enter. So that's how MX Package Installer works. It's a little bit different than most package managers. We don't call it a manager because it doesn't do everything, but it does all the basic things, and it does a few special things of its own, and we like it. Okay, so on the XFCE releases and on the Fluxbox releases, we have another utility. This is the great granddaddy of package managers, and that is Synaptic. Synaptic is Debian's original graphics package manager for their deb-d package format. And if it's in the repositories, this thing will display it, and it displays a lot of information. I'm going to pull up my favorite test application, which is AbiWord. We're going to pick AbiWord here, and it gives you a description. You can get a screenshot. It'll tell you different versions and who's maintaining the package. It'll tell you all the other packages that are going to be pulled in as part of the dependency chain, all the shared libraries and whatnot. If it's installed already, it'll show you what files are already installed, but it won't show you that if it's just sitting there. And it'll show you what versions are available. Sometimes you get multiple versions available in multiple repositories, and you can use this little file window up here, the package, to force a version once you choose a version to do. So this is you can also do your upgrades here. You can mark all upgrades. You manually reload the repository when you want to refresh the catalog of what's available. And so this is a nice utility. It's got good search features. It's got a quick filter. It's got a fairly reasonable search with description and name. And you can even type right in here if you know what you want. You can usually go right to it. There's different categories over here, but I find them less useful, but mostly because I found out what software I wanted by Googling around on the internet, pretty much just like I would from my Windows days. So this is a great package. It has a lot of filters, a lot of search capability. It's not a software store. You're not going to find ratings. You're not going to find a big graphical picture without going through a couple hoops, but it is fast. Those are the two major graphical ones. We do have one more utility, and let me open up the file manager here. AbiWord here. If you say you download a deb file from somewhere, and XNView is a good example. It's not available in any repositories, but is available in a deb file. There's a few other things out there, particularly proprietary software that comes this way. We have a utility called deb-installer, and if you click on one, it's the default action. And it will install it. It will walk you through installing it. It'll tell you what deb file is going to be installed. You click a button, it's going to show you some details about the package and all the dependencies that are going to get installed as part of it. Occasionally you'll find an application that will remove some things during part of the install, and it will show that information too if it's there. And you click install, and a window will open. Yes, I need a password because you just do. and it will launch a terminal and do its install. And otherwise, it's just using apt-get to do the work. What is apt-get, you say? Funny you should ask. So apt-get is the apt family of tools is the classic command line utilities for manipulating packages. And you've got a lot of different things you can do. You can search for a package. So I could do an apt search for AbiWord, and it will show me all the things related to AbiWord. I can do a apt show AbiWord, and it will show me all the details that the deb-installer was showing me. It's actually from their control file. It doesn't matter. It's all part of the deb packaging format, this information being available. There's a lot of different utilities. You can do apt install and the name of the package. You can do apt remove, and you can do apt purge if you want to get rid of a package. There's a lot of things you can do with apt. In fact, there's way too many to talk about here at once. The last one I want to show, the last command line utility for package management, is a neat little utility called Nala. Now, Nala uses the same packaging format backend utilities that the app system does, but it's a little more colorful. So I'm going to do a Nala, you know what, I got used to do. Nala update. I'm going to close this. And it's giving me a lot of information, but it's giving me a nice little format for it. So I can do and it says I can do a Nala list upgrade. So let's just see what I got that I could upgrade. Okay, so there's a bunch of stuff there that I can upgrade on this install. That's fine. Let's go ahead and run an update. I think. Let's see. I'm not going to run the updates right now because a couple of them are going to take some time. But this is another nice utility, and you can see a list of Nala's commands with Nala help, Nala -- or tac or I don't know. It's two hyphens and help. We'll show you the different commands and what they do. Again, it's a nice format. Now, our updater utility, which I'm not going to talk about tonight, but I will talk about in a different video, can be configured with Nala as the back end, which has the advantage of being very fast. It may not look like this because of the way we have it configured to work with the updater tool, but it has a couple of Nala. It uses Nala for a couple of tricks, like multiple connections to a server, so you can download files faster and things like that. But it's a very popular tool. We are keeping it updated fairly well in our system. Those are the graphical package managers we have. Well, I'll back up. The KDE release doesn't use Synaptic. It uses a utility called Discover. Discover is more like an app store. It's kind of its own beast too, and I'll probably cover it in another video. But MX Package Installer is still there, so you can do, if you can't find it in Discover, you can find it in MX Package Installer. So that's basic package management on basic package management tools on MX. I'll be following up later with a little maintenance, keeping your keeping your installed system happy. But that'll be later, so keep an eye on for that. For tips, tricks, how-tos, head over to mxlinux.org. I'll throw up a post, forum.mxlinux.org. This is Dolphin Oracle signing off. Have a great night.